The following video is one in a series on spiritual resilience training, a non-religious view of personal values and their dynamics with others. The contents reflect a variety of principles and practices of systems theory in relational counseling for team building and family resilience. Although the series is intended to support Army Corps values, each video also encourages the viewer to reflect on their current prominent values in specific situations and to consider what values may be more appropriate to means and results that are honorable and helpful with others. Chaplain Dillard initiates creating and posting these videos. Their contents and YouTube's linked videos do not necessarily reflect specific beliefs, practices, requirements, or endorsements of the Department of Defense, its subordinate organizations, or other groups with which Chaplain Dillard is affiliated.
Welcome back. This is the last in our series on responding to different extreme styles of management. Again, if you haven't seen at least the first video, watch that one. It's foundational to explaining some of the hows and whys of different styles of management. We're primarily addressing two extremes of micromanagement and absentee management, but we're also looking at the spectrum and realizing that a leader, somebody who initiates for the good of the team, can shift left or right to be more avoidant of trouble, more aggressive on problems, never avoiding people or being aggressive toward people, but attacking the situation of the problem for the betterment of the team or avoiding unnecessary risks for the betterment of the team. But again, we're primarily addressing the extremes, the micromanager and the absentee manager. Today is for that leader who struggles and know that they struggle with the problem of their own absent management. I've got several suggestions for you professionally and personally. We'll look at these one at a time. These are just suggestions. Take them for what you will. As I like to say, you can eat the chicken, spit out the bones. Any way I can be helpful to your success, I want to be helpful in those. So let's take a look. First, articulate your vision statement and your mission statement, which is nested in your boss's vision and mission statement. If you're not familiar with those terms, and I'm assuming that you are, but if you're, just in case you're not, a vision statement is a very specific picture of where you want the team to be. What are they going to look like in a year, 5 years, in their proficiency, in their cohesion? What are they there to accomplish? That gives you a visual idea to measure your progress toward that, to choose directions to move toward that, to show you what right looks like. It's a gauge, much like a road trip. You have to know where you're going before you know if you're getting there and how well you're getting there. A mission statement is exactly what you do to reach that vision, related but different. So that implies that you've got to know your bosses. What is your boss's vision? You might not know, because there's a chance that your boss has a vision but hasn't articulated it, or they have a mission but haven't articulated it, or that whatever is on the website is so vague it doesn't help you say no to some things. It doesn't help you prioritize or delegate or refer. Hey, this is really not our lane, this belongs to somebody else. You may need to go to them and say, hey boss, I've been reading our vision statement, our mission statement. It's not as clear as I would like it to be, because I want to know that I'm using my time for you well, that the things that I do are an investment in your vision and not slightly off to the left or right, so it's wasting our time, which is hindering your vision. Can you be more specific with me about exactly what you want our organization or our team to accomplish? That will help you articulate a smaller vision and mission statement nested in theirs for your team that enables you to give more guidance to the team. Secondly, ask your team for their understanding of your vision and mission. Now, I would recommend that you do this before you articulate your vision and mission to them. Just say, hey, in your own words, how would you say, or what would you say is our reason for being? What is our purpose as a team? And they might list several things. Don't correct them. Don't explain or comment. Just listen and go around to different members of the team and ask the same thing. If you get a great variety of answers that are different, they probably don't understand why they're there. Involve the team in a gap analysis of the current operations toward that vision. In other words, once you decide or articulate exactly where you want to go, that future, you can take a look at, okay, are we getting there? What are the gaps? What are the hurdles? What are we missing? We may be missing training. We may be missing resources. We may be missing some personnel. We may be missing some forms of communication. What are the gaps that are hindering us from getting to the vision? And if you involve the team members in that, however many people are on your team, you're more likely to come up with a lot of good answers because you've got a lot of heads working on the same problem. Until you can identify those gaps, you may struggle toward that vision and not realize why it's taking so much energy and time to get there, why the work seems so inefficient. Do that gap analysis and involve the team in doing that. It will bring up problems. It will tell you where deficiencies are, and that might seem very uncomfortable to you and the team, but we cannot develop good solutions until we have specifically identified the problems, those gaps that we have. Ask trusted agents, that could be your team members, your peers, boss above you, for feedback to improve your leadership, then act on it. Who are the people that know you and that you trust? And then ask them what they think about you as a leader. Ask your spouse. Ask your kids. Ask co-workers and trusted friends. People who know you now, people who knew you 5 years ago. Just ask them wide open. How would you describe me as a leader, positive or negative? And then just listen. Don't correct, don't stop. Don't roll your eyes or tuck and run. Stand there and listen. They will tell you some positive things and some areas that you need to grow in. Take some of those, especially start with the ones that you can realistically change soon, because you need to get some success under your belt. Don't take something that is seemingly insurmountable and start working on that, because you're setting yourself up for immediate failure. Take some things that you know that you can begin to change now and begin to act on those. That'll let you know, wow, not only can I grow as a leader, I am growing as a leader. Involve key members in creating a shared calendar of team duties and events. Some teams do this very well and naturally, others don't. We need to not only know what we need to do, but when we're going to do it. When do they need to meet with you? When do they need to have certain things turned in? What is a major program or event coming up? That'll tell them how much time they have to prepare for that. That'll remind them who needs to be there. That will put everybody on the same sheet of music so that when you can't be there, they can refer to that calendar for some level of guidance about how to prepare for the week and the month and the quarter and the year. Once you have that calendar established, if you're not doing this already, initiate meetings with you as the leader, initiate training, and get them resources to strengthen your team. So you've done that gap analysis, you've established a schedule of what to accomplish and when. Now begin to initiate things that fill that gap. Meetings with you where information is shared from you and received from them. Training where they're getting better at their jobs, and the resources to do that. Once they see you initiating that, that is going to build a lot of confidence in you as their leader, because they will see that you are working to help them as individual team members succeed and the entire team succeed, and they'll want more of it. Publish your realistic and regular rotation to team members' work sites. Now this implies that you need to be going to team members' work sites. Depending on the nature of your team, I can't tell you how frequent that should be, but it should be regular. They should expect you to come through once a week or once a day or once a month, depending on the nature of your organization. And you need to rotate through those team sites, because you may not be able to see everybody every time. But if you rotate through to see everybody eventually and continue that rotation, that'll prove several things to them. My boss is interested in me. My boss knows who I am. My boss wants to help me succeed, and they're being deliberate about it. That will build their confidence in you, their desire to work for you, and it will be a win-win for everybody. It will lessen your stress because you'll know what they're already doing. You'll get to know their needs because you're there in person. Not just a teleconference with them, not just an email, but a physical going to where they are. This is a win-win for the team. Schedule a regular time of public rewards for individuals' achievements. There are many different ways that we can reward people. Attaboys, handshakes, certificates of appreciation, trophies. There's all different types of things that you can creatively say thank you to your team members for. If you have that on a rotational basis or a regular basis, once a month or once a quarter, however it should be based on the uniqueness of your team, that will let them know again that you're being deliberate about your appreciation, and that will help them want to do those things in the future. Hey, maybe I'll get an attaboy. Maybe the boss will recognize me. And you can look for people to thank and appreciate and reward based on their unusual performance, based on their need for encouragement to be more an engaged member of the team, based on their connection to the team. There are many different types of rewards you can give them. Best this, best that, most improved this, however you want to phrase it, for the benefit of the team toward the vision. View any necessary discipline of team majors as a great tool for their growth. This can be difficult if you struggle with being more present with your team, being with them on a physical, being with them physically in their area, near their office, because we don't like to discipline. It seems like we're starting an argument or we're pointing out something bad. Well, sometimes we have to point out something bad. Look at the word discipline. The root of that is disciple or to teach. Discipline, proper discipline, helps teach them something, fills a gap of knowledge or understanding or ability so that they can succeed in the future. We are training them on how to be better for their own growth and the team. See it as a good tool. Then you won't avoid it. You'll find ways to make it as successful for the team as possible. How about on a personal level? Consider initiating resolving some conflict with a family member, then note what works and some of the benefits. If you are struggling with absentee management at work, so chances are you're probably struggling with being kind of passive and avoidant at home as well. Look for some conflicts that you know need resolving with your children, with your spouse, with a close friend, and initiate gently and wisely. Think about how to do it. What's the real problem? Come owning some of your own fault in that. Bring some recommendations. Make it a dialogue. Make it as comfortable for them as possible so that you can see what works in resolving conflict and some of the benefits to resolving conflict, even if it's a very long process over weeks or months or years. Because then you can take those lessons learned and that positive experience, and it will give you more confidence and more wisdom to go back to your team as an effective leader. All of us struggle with conflict resolution to some degree, but if you struggle with being an absent manager, it's probably a greater struggle for you than others. And doing it with a trusted family member that you know cares about you, or a trusted friend with whom you happen to have a conflict, you're more likely to succeed in that, get some positive results out of it that will build your confidence in your ability to do it at work. Lastly, consider investing in the counsel of a professional for some of the deeper issues that you can't seem to shake. If, for whatever reason, you struggle so much with conflict resolution that you just can't seem to initiate it at all anywhere, and it's causing you to be distant from family and friends and your coworkers at the job, think about getting some counseling. It doesn't mean you're a weak person. It means that you want to be stronger and wiser and better than you are. That's a good sign. A lot of times there are things that happened to us years ago in family growing up, first job experience, a key relationship, where we had such a bad experience with conflict that we decided, I'm never going there again. That's too damaging, that's too hurtful. I'm willing to take a C+ on that type of relationship or that type of work than go through that hell again. A counselor, a skilled counselor, can help you work through that so that you can wade through those difficult situations to something truly better and glorious on the other side. Hope this has been helpful to you. Hope the whole series has been helpful to you. Remember, all of us struggle at different times with being a micromanager or being an absent manager. Ideally, we want to be somewhere in the middle so that we can shift left or right as needed. It might be analogous to playing racquetball or tennis or any court sport. Where do you usually want to be most responsive? It's somewhere in the middle, right? Because then if you need to shift left, right, front, or back, you can do it more quickly. If we work off way to one side, then it can be almost impossible to get to the other side if the situation dictates that we need to. So we want to ideally be in that middle ground so we can respond to the whole team's needs more effectively. Hope that's helpful, and I'll see you in future series. See you then.
At the release date of this video, I am stationed with Research, Development, and Engineering Command, RDECOM, at Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland. Because the majority of our personnel are in this area, I spend most of my time here. I do, however, travel to our distant units based on command priorities and budget. I place these videos on YouTube for broad visibility to Army personnel and their families, but I hope the videos will be helpful to others too. If you are assigned to RDECOM and want to request specific topics by video, training on site or by VTC, or confidential counseling on site or by secure webcam, you can contact me at jeffrey.d.dillard.mil@mail.mil.